You touched on something that I want to, can we pivot off?
Sure.
So
Thank you, Justin.
Yeah.
We appreciate you.
You touched on something that I think is interesting, which is how much of what people do today to quote unquote help is virtue signaling versus actually helpful. That reminds me of this direct message you got on Instagram, which I wanted to bring up.
Yeah.
Where somebody basically accused you of being racist because you didn't have a black square, right? The all black square. A couple things. You have not posted since your birthday of last year, right? It's not like you're active on Instagram. 2, the last thing you did post was about a fundraiser that you and I were running for charity water. We do that because it's one of the most cost-effective ways to save lives. But if you're super hung up on specifically Black Lives Matter, all the people this helps are black because it's in Africa. So somebody wrote you furious because you did not post a black square on your Instagram. And your very first Instagram post is raising money for clean water in Africa. And it got me thinking that guy doesn't he doesn't care that you're helping people or not helping people. What he wants is to see signaling. And I think we've gotten a little bit mixed up between what's actually helpful and what's posturing. You know what I mean? Like, I know a lot of people who will post things on social media purporting to care about a cause, but they're not donating to that cause or volunteering for that cause. And I think we've gotten confused as a society. We've gotten lost as to what's actually helpful and what is actually just meant to make ourselves feel good and feel like we are good people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So I think that the missing foundation for him, and that I need to and try to reflexively put back on myself, is that he wasn't apparently interested in understanding me. He was interested in if I behaved in a way that he could control. Right? Like, did you do what I want you to do was his question. And the answer is no, I didn't do what he wanted me to do. He was not interested in finding out, let's say that I hadn't done that. I mean, am I active in my community? Do I take care of my sick and dying father? He was not interested in understanding. And what I think the problem is that, people of my opinion can also then go, well, I understand that person completely. They just want to burn down the world and control people, which is, maybe a grain of truth, but it's like, no, I need to understand him. And I think if I spoke to him, what I would find is that he's suffering. You know what I mean? Like, you don't write that message unless you are hurt and upset. And we can argue that he doesn't have the right to be hurt or upset at me, but that doesn't change the point that he's hurting.
Yeah.
And so he, in the same way that I have an explanation, like, hey man, I really do try to help. I think he probably has things in his own life. And what is missing, and this is what my biggest issue with the apologies, is I would ask anybody to, when you receive an apology from a friend or a family member and you think they're making excuses, ask yourself if this is just an opportunity for them to understand themselves and why they did what they did, and for you to in turn understand them. Because I do think that everything that anybody's ever done, including that message, is to try to feel good, is to try to feel better, And like, in his own way, he thinks that he's making the world a better place in doing that. So we have a lot more in common than
Well, I guess what I'm trying to say is people should ease up on their snap judgments about who is and isn't doing good in the world.
And I take that to myself and go, I have to ease up on that guy. Like, my initial reaction.
Well, I'm easing up, dude. I have his Instagram. I could put him on blast.
I
could sick an angry mob on him.
No, I was.
I'm choosing not to.
Well, what I will say is
I'm being compassionate.
Sure. No, I mean, well, I wasn't. I'll say this: I wasn't compassionate in my head and in my heart when I got that. I was furious, and I wouldn't have actually punched him, but in my mind, I was like, "You motherfucker!" Like, I was so angry. Because it was like, oh wow, and the thing that he promised me, he was very excited to cancel me and start a whole thing, and I was like,
movement against me.
To which I went, I will punch you harder, in my head.
Which is hilarious, because if you actually care about anything, like, we literally just did another fundraiser. Like, this guy's anger, he's so angry that he's blind, is what I'm saying.
Yes,
and he's lashing out.
So am I, is what I realized, and I. It isn't a false equivalency. I actually think as I sit down and I went, what overcame me in that moment where he wrote that? I sat down, I was like, he told me that he was trying to kill me, essentially. He told me that he was trying to take away my livelihood, end my thing, and he was going to do it for what I thought was a empty reason.
Yeah.
And so my reaction to that was, oh yeah? I'll kill you.
Yeah.
And so I became, for a period, blindly angry. And that's what I, like, It's a vicious circle when people don't attempt to understand one another, is what I'm seeing. And so I participate in that vicious circle. And even by pointing out, well, this guy did it first, that doesn't really help break the circle.
No, but cut yourself some slack. I mean,
Yeah.
This guy.
Well, he's completely wrong. He's completely wrong, but I can still try to understand him.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I mean, we got 100,000 plus people on our email list. We got millions of subscribers. If you actually wanted to do violence on this guy, you could sick thousands of people on him. Like, you got angry, then you breathed into it. You felt your feelings.
Sure,
then you
he could have
released
showed up at my house and stabbed me, and he didn't. You know, all he did was send me a message, which was ultimately harmless. You know, so he deserves. He deserves the same thing. And I'm not saying that we are the same, he and I. I'm just saying that the same emotional things that set him off are akin to the ones that set me off and send me in a similar direction as him, unless I do the opposite of what he did.
Well, this is the interesting thing about cancel culture and censoring speech, right? Is you have so many people that are angry on both sides and an inability to communicate. Because if you say something that you think is factual or you think is helping the conversation, but that someone finds offensive, you will be canceled for trying to further the dialogue. So what you have is angry people on all sides who won't let the other side communicate, and therefore they are incapable of reaching common ground.
Yep. Yeah. What's interesting is that I was thinking of this in terms of democracy and how this is actually, in some ways, if you like democracy, it's a good thing, because democracy is power of the people, right? And previously, like, a judge had to declare you guilty, and that is no longer the case. You can be fired from your job, removed from public discourse, etc., if the people decide that that is the case. And what technology has done is it's distributed a ton of power to the people. Now, what's great about that is power to the people, more checks and balances, etc. What's bad about that is that the institutions like, and I wrote these down, let me see if I can find them. Hope that you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to see more like this and have us do more podcasts, we are 100% funded by our generous patrons. And if you'd like to contribute, there's a link in the description, and we'll have one pop up on the screen right here so that we can do more podcasts where we have fun conversations and hopefully some deep ones like this. Either way, hope that you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.